Hey, there we are.
Yay! It worked.
It worked. We were having some trouble getting live. Hello, friends and fellow Disney fans. Welcome to, the Jamie Thomas Show Live.
Well, you're here, so it can be the Jamie and Brad show. I'll share.
Whatever. Well, I'll be kind of moderating all of the comments coming in and telling Jamie what the questions are. A quick disclaimer as we begin. Jamie is going to be going over everything Disney has officially released. And so that is what Disney has actually said. Then there's also going to be things that we say that are our opinions. We're going to do our best to kind of differentiate when it is just our thoughts. Obviously, Jamie goes to the parks a lot, but we don't have any extra inside information beyond what Disney has released. So anything that's our opinion is really just educated guesses at best.
Yeah. And if you are new to our channel, make sure to take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you can get notifications whenever we go live about future Disney news or just when we post videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Stuart.
Okay, so what Disney has told us so far is that all of dining for 2020 is canceled. So dining, Fastpasses. So if you had any of that booked, that is all canceled in your My Disney Experience account. Perhaps it hasn't been completely canceled yet, but it will be canceled probably within the next few days or weeks. So Disney has canceled the dining plan. If you did pay for the dining plan, then you will be getting a refund back for that. And if you did have free dining, the free dining promotion, then you will be getting a 35% off discount in lieu of the free dining. There's been a little bit confusion about this because a few bloggers in the beginning were reporting that you could use the 35% off for a new booking in the future. From what I know, you can only use it on the current booking because you cannot make any new bookings. There is no modifications that are able to be made to current bookings. So as of right now, you cannot use it for a future booking. It is only applied to the current booking you have. That being said, it could change in the future. You just never know, right? Yeah. That is what we know right now. You don't have to call to make that change. Disney is automatically taking off your dining plan, refunding you, and then if you did have the free dining, giving you the 35% off discount instead.
Yeah. So do we want to start taking questions?
Well, let me just say a little bit more. A few other things that were announced is that there are no parades, no fireworks, no character encounters or high-touch experiences. That would be like Bippity Boppity Boutique. That would also include massages, anything where people are having to have contact with each other. And then also masks need to be worn everywhere except for when you're pretty much in the pool or in that pool area. But you will have to wear a mask everywhere else. Oh, and when you're eating, because you can't eat or drink, eat a turkey leg through a mask. That would just be awful, wouldn't it?
That would be miserable.
The other thing is Disney Springs website does say for anyone 2 or older, they do have to wear a mask. It was reported earlier, and I'm actually seeing kind of conflicting information that it was 3 and older. But Disney Springs website actually says 2 and older. So I'm kind of going with that just to be cautious. But it could be changed to 3 in the future.
For
but
sure.
Right now, Disney Springs is saying 2 and older, which is kind of crazy. I
can't even imagine trying to get a mask on a 2 or a 3-year-old.
No.
And keeping it there all day. That sounds insane to me.
That would be really difficult. It's definitely a difficult thing, even for guests with special needs and things like that. Yeah. So right now, it doesn't say what kind of face covering. It just says a face covering. So, some people are going in with kind of ski masks. I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be difficult in the Florida sun.
Yeah. Though. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of pictures of people with pretty cool masks.
Yeah. Being creative.
I think that's definitely going to be a thing.
That's going to be a trending topic.
Oh yeah. That's going.
Maybe we need to make a video on Disney DIY masks.
I want to get a Mandalorian full face mask so bad. I don't know if that would be allowed, but that'd be so
But
cool.
See, the rules are you can't dress up as a character if you're an adult, right?
I feel like there should be some movement movement on that now. If you're being forced to wear a face mask,
I should be a Mandalorian.
By the way, so it's official. Character greetings are not happening right now.
Yeah, they did say that there would be characters around the parks,
but not character interactions.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one to me because the masks that the characters wear, I would assume, are pretty good at keeping in talking particles.
Yeah.
And then they only allow like one family up at a time that are all in the same. And that one surprises me.
I think it's the issue of
criticism,
kids touching and, and then the next person, like they would have to sanitize every character in between. Like, that would just be,
I didn't even think about that.
But, if you think about the characters in the parks, how they're in parades and things like that, there's no parades. There's no, so how are they going to get creative putting the characters where they're seen in the parks, but they're not, they're kind of,
maybe behind barriers and just waving at people.
Yeah.
Isn't that what a parade is? Like, why?
But they're not. Maybe if they call it an official parade, then or make it really nice.
Yeah,
then it brings people. But another thing is the social distancing squad. That kind of is interesting. How there's social distancing squads.
Is this an official thing?
It actually is.
So there's cast members that are going to be paid to
encourage people to social distance. Yeah,
we are going to be getting to your question. Sorry, I'm learning a lot of this information at the same time you are. So
yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I think that would be a really fun job. Remember, 2 meters apart.
And I'll say to anyone that's going to be going to the parks during this time, this is I've been to Disney World so many times, and most people are generally really, really happy and really, really kind to cast members and vice versa. But this is going to be a time when people are kind of on edge. And I would encourage you, be kind to those cast members. They're going to be dealing with a lot.
Yeah, and they're learning too.
And they're just doing their best. And that's something I think for all of us to remember, even outside of the parks during this season. Let's just be kind.
Well, no one can go into this vacation thinking it's going to be like a normal Disney experience.
No.
Everything's it's into the unknown.
That was very good.
Thank you. So another couple things, Cinderella's Royal Table, if you did prepay for that, that will be refunded. Select third-party places might not get canceled because select third-party restaurants are actually open. So if you have a restaurant reservation, maybe at T-Rex or a Disney Springs one that isn't specifically owned by Disney, that might not be canceled, Disney said. So you just be aware for that. If you do cancel your vacation, you might want to double check in your My Disney Experience account to cancel all your reservations because you do not want to get a no-show fee just in case you have one that isn't canceled or something. Let's see. If you are still going to the parks, then at 60 days before your check-in date, you will get information on how you can rebook dining and rebook fast passes or experiences before your trip. When you arrive at the parks, there will be some kind of way to book what parks. Well, but how would that work if you can book dining 60 days ahead? Because it almost sounds like you have to queue to get into the park, kind of like Rise of the Resistance. But they haven't given us many details on that. But I guess maybe they'll let you book dining, and then I'm sure they'll be flexible if you can't actually get into the park. But you do need to remember, if you have park tickets, you are not guaranteed entry. And even if you're there, you're not guaranteed entry because they are going to be keeping to strict capacity caps. So
they must be developing some kind of a system in order for you to know what park you're going to be going to.
It sounded like it's a virtual queue that you sign up for, but yeah, I'm not.
I think there's still lots we're going to be learning about all of that.
Well, that's a whole nother video about how that's going to work. Yeah, because we don't know, but maybe they're going to let you make Fastpass and dining, then you do the virtual queue later.
As soon as we get word on how that's going to work, we will make another video to let you guys know and to explain it. Because I think that's really, really important moving forward for people and guests.
Okay, I have more to talk about, but
should we take
let's
some questions?
do questions.
All right, so Stuart Mack was the first one with the question. Hi, Stuart. First question was, I'm coming next March with my wife and 2 boys, staying at the Beach Club. Would you say this is a good choice, or would you recommend another resort?
Oh, I love the Beach Club. It is probably one of my favorite resorts.
And so you're saying next March is in 2021.
Yeah.
Assuming things are somewhat back to normal and the pools are open and did you not rate that as your number 1 resort, or is it
I think I put that in Polynesian.
I love. Jamie loves that resort.
The pool is amazing, and in March it will be hopefully, good enough weather, right?
I would say the pool at that resort is almost equivalent to having a water park. It's better than a pool.
Yeah.
you've got a lazy river, you've got sand beaches.
Yeah.
You've got
the kids can play, if you have kids, like they can play in the sand pit kind of area and build sand castles.
You've got the largest and longest water slide in any of the Disney World resorts, and I think it's right up there with like Blizzard Beach and that kind of stuff for how long. I wouldn't say
I didn't actually ride it when I was there. But it's
really long.
I just floated in the lazy river when I was there.
It's awesome.
And there's also beaches in Cream and Yachtsman Steakhouse. And you're literally walking distance to Epcot. And then there's boat service to Hollywood Studios. And you can actually walk to Hollywood Studios, but that's a little far walk.
Stuart also asked, do you think a free dining plan will be released for 2021?
Oh, goodness. That is hard to know.
Speculation at this point. We don't. So much is up in the air because of the fact that this is obviously affecting Disney's bottom line. This is affecting financial cash flow in and out. So what kind of offers they're able to do, that's all up in the air. We just don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to think so. I also think they're going to be trying to encourage people to get back to the parks.
Yes.
And so there, at the same time, there could be promotions for that end.
Yeah.
But there's just so much of an unknown there. If regulations are lifting, I mean, they're going to be doing things to try and encourage people to come back because there's going to be a certain amount of people that are simply afraid to.
Well, and every single year, free dining does get harder and harder. Like the dates get shorter. The times, the windows, right? And then the qualifications, like you have to have park hopper, if you stay at a value, you get quick service. There used to be days where you could stay at a value and get, the standard dining plan free. So, you wonder what the restrictions, like free dining totally might be off the table, or maybe it might be, changed completely. So we just have no clue. So much like, it's just unknown. Yeah. Into the unknown.
You can keep those questions coming. Diana Badger says, hello, Jamie. We have a package vacation that had the free dining. We had to add the park hopper. Do you think we will still be able to park hop?
No. Okay. So that was going to be one of the things I was going to talk to you guys about. Park hopper is definitely going to be off the table, discontinued. So if you did pay for park hopper, you will get a refund on that. Yeah, that's from what I know.
Bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Diana also says, do you know if all the rides will be open or not?
Yeah, I don't know that.
There hasn't been any release on the exact amount of rides that will be open.
Yeah.
Again, judging by what we've seen at Shanghai Disney, there are rides open.
Yeah.
But which ones and what will be affected, we just don't know
Seems
yet.
like at Shanghai, it's only really the rides,
Did they not? I thought at first they were doing some parades and shows.
Oh, did they? Yeah, and they
had spots available that people can. And that's why I think what is true today may not be true a month from now,
Absolutely.
a week from now, tomorrow. The only thing we know for sure is what Disney's released.
Yeah.
But even that, I would expect them to even amend what they're saying as more, even just how the virus works. As more knowledge comes out, that will inform what they do.
Even with them, originally there was bloggers and stuff posting that free dining, all dining plans were taken off the table till September 2021 because UK guests were able to book into 2021 with dining that early. So most people were not booking dining into 2021 because for domestic offers, you couldn't book dining for those dates. I don't necessarily think that means that dining and everything will be off the table until then. I just think Disney had to start with a clean slate, really. And then they're going to reintroduce it back when it's ready.
Now, this isn't as much a question. This is kind of a cute statement. Lauren Oy says, it's 1 a.m. here, Jamie. Did I make it?
You did. Hi,
Lauren.
She's one of my clients, Malaysia, right, Lauren?
Oh, cool.
I know, right? So
Very
that's
cool.
why it's such a big time difference for her.
Wendy Burns asks, I heard only one park a day when you make your reservation. Will you get a refund for park hopper? Yes. Yeah. A friend talked to a reservation agent at Disney, and she said many restaurants would not be open because of less people, plus no street food like popcorn. I mean, that makes sense.
Interesting about the popcorn.
Yeah, the street food.
I would think there would be like pretzels though and stuff. I could understand with popcorn.
Anything that's an individual item, I don't. How is that any different than your fast food restaurants and things we're seeing all over North America right now?
Yeah.
And again, we're not. And as far as news, we're not seeing big outbreaks because of those types of food chains.
Sorry, Lauren. Lauren's from the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think like, definitely character dining is gone, right? So will those restaurants be closed? Probably. It doesn't make sense to have, Crystal Palace open unless they maybe modify it as a quick service restaurant or something. We know nothing. Those are all just like ideas in my head. I could see them, taking out tables to accommodate for social distancing, and some places might be closed just because limited numbers of people, I guess.
Yeah. Wendy also said some counter services will not be open either, according to the meeting this reservation agent was in.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting.
Huh.
Diana Badger asked, hello, Brad and Jamie. Do we know what the number or percentage of capacity for the parks will
Yeah,
be?
I actually asked Disney about that, and they are not giving out any numbers at all. So
It's because they probably don't know yet.
Yeah.
Or they're working on it. And again, I think just figuring out based on the information. So you guys can keep those questions coming.
Well, and I think that's why they stopped allowing new reservations, because they want to just see where they're at, how many people do cancel, and then kind of reevaluate before they open up, because they need to figure out like capacity and stuff like that. So if there's no more questions for a sec, let's talk some more. So let's talk about Mickey's Not So Scary in Food and Wine, because we get
seems to be
lots
getting
of questions
the
about
most
that.
questions about that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So Disney has not officially canceled anything. You cannot currently buy tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party because, you can't buy any tickets or anything. What do you think about it, Brad?
Again, I think it is going to be a moving scale, where I think because of the fact that Mickey's Not So Scary, they release it so early, like crazy August, that we're celebrating Halloween now. And I get it. You make money and people like it. But I think because it's releasing so early, I would be shocked if it's happening.
Yeah.
There hasn't been an official release yet.
No.
But the tea leaves are pointing
Yeah, the
certain
writing's on the wall.
direction there. That it would be hard to imagine it being open. It's certainly hard to imagine that party's happening in August or September.
Yeah. I think if that does get canceled, you will get a refund, an automatic refund, so you don't need to worry about that. Usually they are non-refundable tickets, but obviously if the party's canceled, Disney is not going to hold your money and keep it. So,
and then if Food and Wine is
the thing with Food and Wine is that it is so crowded in World Showcase.
Well, I was just going to say, if it's true, and again, we're hearing from you guys on this one, but if they're not selling popcorn on street vendors, if you haven't been to the Food and Wine, it's effectively they have kiosks set up all around World Showcase that are representing the different countries.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Like, it's one of our favorite events of the year, but it gets incredibly crowded. People are standing very close together. It's individual food offerings by these different kiosks. It's hard to imagine if they're saying we won't be doing popcorn from outdoor vendors.
Well, they haven't said that. I haven't read that, but
that's not official. But if there's any truth to that, I can't imagine how they would do this.
Well, and then you're talking.
But again, we don't know.
There's marathons coming up. I couldn't imagine those, but we have no clue. So it's one of those things. I think it would have been nice actually if Disney gave us all of the information on how everything's going to look, but I think they're kind of figuring things out too on their own. So.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. Do you think a dining plan is worth paying for when traveling with a young family? Okay,
I do. I like the dining plan. I think people do not realize how expensive the food is at the parks. You think, oh, maybe a hot dog's like $6 or $7, right? But when you actually go there and then a hot dog's $10 to $15, you're like, oh, okay. So we usually find, and especially if you're doing character meals are a lot of money. And I feel like even if you just do one character meal or one sit down, that almost pays for the dining plan. It all depends on how your family eats, though. If you guys are vegetarians, you're probably not going to be getting your value's worth if you choose usually the salad or the cheapest pasta on the meal. But if you like a good steak every once in a while, or character meals like the buffets, absolutely worth it.
Totally.
Yeah.
It is about you've got to judge your family based on how you guys eat and what your goal is.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to save the most amount of money possible when it comes to your budget on food,
Mhm.
then maybe the dining plan is not for you. There are
Mhm.
ways to save money.
You could order kids meals every meal. Like
There's
kids
ways.
portions are actually pretty big too.
Oh, and again, if you don't want to have the steak, you're fine with the chicken, whatever have you, then maybe it's not for you. If you want to go, not worry. I would say the dining plan is for you. Even with kids, we obviously have kids, enjoy it thoroughly. We like going and effectively budgeting the dining plan in. And so when we're there, we're just not worried about the food budget.
Yeah.
It really makes for a much less stressful vacation, easier vacation. We like it.
When we have to make a payment for a buffet or something, and it's a $500 bill for our family, or $300 to $500, that kind of hurts having to pay. But if it was all paid for ahead of time before, I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
For me, it makes it a more enjoyable vacation. Absolutely.
And I actually for kids, I have found that I really enjoy it for kids. I think they get, I've gotten a lot of value. I've seen the kids get a lot of value. They enjoy it. I don't know. I don't think it's bad if you have young kids. But there's plenty of ways to kind of price it out to see if it's actually worth it for your family.
Lauren said that she heard in Shanghai character meet and greets were done on balconies. Will Disneyland and Disney World do the same?
So the word is we don't know.
Well, the official is there's going to be no high touch experiences with characters, but they did say characters are going to be around. So I could see them doing something like that. Like they actually even had with Disney Spring stormtroopers out, kind of like on balconies being like, oh, it's like really funny.
That is cute. I like that a lot, actually.
So I'm sure, there's still going to be characters seen and around the parks, but you just won't be able to touch them or give them a hug, sadly.
Yeah. No. We did the dining. Yeah, if I'm booked at one resort, would I be able to use the 35% off with the same dates, but at a different resort?
So right now there's no modifications. Like it's just you get what you get kind of thing. But will Disney open it up so you can make modifications later? Maybe. I wanted so bad to be like, absolutely, but
we don't know.
We don't know. But right now there's no modifications. So you can't make any changes. Like what they give you is what they give you. That's kind of another thing we should talk about is now we have no insider information except for what Disney World says on their website, which is, oh boy, where was it? Additionally, Disney Vacation Club properties at Disney World and Disney Fort Wilderness Campground will begin to reopen to members and guests June 22nd. So DVC and the campgrounds are going to be opening June 22nd. What does that mean?
That means if the borders open, I'd want to go camping.
Now this is all speculation. We have absolutely no information about what hotels are going to be open and stuff, but there are rumors too about, Brad will know more about this, the NBA coming to,
I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed, but they're voting on Thursday on how many teams are going to be allowed, and it looks like the NBA season and playoffs is effectively going to be all played out in a bubble at Disney World.
So if they do that, they're going to need to stay, like they're going to stay on property in a resort or two, right? Like what does that mean for the guests who are booked at that current place where they are, an NBA player is going to be now staying at, right? I think that there might be shifts and shakeups. Like I have no insider information, but I think that Disney generally will always upgrade. So I don't think you have to be worried about getting a downgrade going from like Grand Floridian to All Stars.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
I don't think that will happen.
No, because it's not in their best interest.
No, absolutely not. It'd be really funny though if the NBA players were at All Stars. Like
it would kind of be fitting because they're all stars.
I know, right? We can just put them in the sports section.
That was a terrible dad joke.
They can go from their mansions to the smaller rooms. So there might be in the future though shakeups. Like with right now they're saying they're opening DVC, which is a lot of deluxe resorts and cabins. So we know that those resorts are going to be open.
That's all they've released.
That's all we know, right? So
Yeah.
what does that mean? I think we'll find more information in the next couple weeks. So again, I wish they gave us more information immediately because I want it now, but
Yeah.
I think we're going to find more information over the next couple weeks.
Dan Tender says, when do you think cruises will resume? Before we answer that question, the key is, he says, when do you think?
Oh.
Disney hasn't released anything, right?
How about when do I want them to resume?
But the question is, when do you actually think? It's not, we don't know.
Well, okay, so we do know that Canada just announced this week that they are not allowing any cruise ships, I think it was over 100 people, to go to their ports until it was sometime in October. So that's kind of crazy that they're like, no cruise ships. So that means
that's an interesting thing because the cruise industry is so dependent on the different ports and countries they go to. So it'll be very like Disney kind of is at the whim of each individual country and what their regulations are regarding COVID.
And I don't think Disney's officially canceled, and I don't even think Royal Caribbean, I don't think they've officially canceled their cruises in late August or things like that do have port stops out of Vancouver. Yeah. So, but we know they're not going to happen because Canada, the government is not going to let them do it. So I don't know. I think I would hope for fall. What we do know is there's not going to be any buffets. So there'll be people like serving you if there is kind of the same cabanas and stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of experiences that are just different. Like we'll see characters, maybe for the remaining part of 2020, not being like right there, more on the stage shows. Like I would follow Disney World suit. They're not allowing parades and like large gatherings. So what does that mean for the cruise where they have the sail away party and there's so many people in that one area, right?
The problem
will they be sailing with lower capacity? And
I feel like they'd have to if they're going to be sailing at all. But then the question with capacity becomes, at what point are you not making enough money to make it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of this will have to be balanced by Disney. To me, cruising is so much more difficult than opening up the parks. You have people in far closer quarters. You have food all in those closer quarters. What we're seeing is, as far as spread of this virus, is indoors in close capacity, talking to one another is where it's spread. Outdoors doesn't tend to spread as fast. There's not as much evidence of that. So it's hard. I mean, all speculation, but cruising's the toughest one to figure out when that's going to be. And I think it'll be the last kind of thing to come back.
Yeah, I do. I have heard rumors that they say that will be.
Which is sad because we had cruises booked.
We did. We were so sad. We were doing the Hawaii Disney cruise and we were going to vlog it all and go to Alani. Oh my gosh, we were so excited. But
future stuff
that we have to move. And I know you guys can relate, a lot of you. I think cruising will be the last one to come back.
Which is a bummer because it's turned into my favorite vacation.
I think, would it be hopeful to say maybe fall? Maybe that's my hopefulness. Be like, I hope fall, because
it's funny because want to go in fall. I've been really optimistic about the parks.
Yeah.
Like I was not shocked to see that they're opening it in June, and now seeing that even Disneyland is kind of ramping up as California is kind of that didn't surprise me. I know a lot of people, it's going to be till 2021. I never thought that with the parks. Cruising could be the fall, but I wouldn't be surprised even to see it in 2021. We just don't know. So much with that is dependent on so many countries and what's happening with the virus, vaccines, medication,
other cruise lines.
There's so many variables.
Yeah.
So many variables.
Yeah.
If I had 2 weeks booked and I need to cut it back to 9 days, am I going to be able to do that?
At this moment, no. I know.
Again,
but
information changes constantly, but that's what's been released right now.
I think they're just doing it right now just to kind of let the dust settle and stuff. And
I think they're still figuring stuff out. Yeah. But as of right now, that's what's been released.
Yeah. Maybe they'll say to people, you can't add on days, or maybe.
I sure would hope, because I think a lot of the reason people are going to have to shift stuff around is because of regulations for when I go back, I'm going to have to isolate for 7 to 14 days or whatever. So,
it would be hard for me to imagine they won't let you modify a current reservation. I understand about no new reservations, like even adding on nights or things like that. But you should be able to modify. But right now, Disney's modifying like the fast passes, the dining, park hopper. So they'll do that all for you. But yeah, I don't know. Right now, it's just uncertain, but hopefully in the future.
But as of right now, the answer is unfortunately
no. Yeah.
I've been reading a lot about WDW news. I was wondering if Disneyland has any heads up. Last I had read, the Anaheim in California were moving a phase ahead, which could potentially include some park stuff, but nothing official has come up. That's more on
like
the California Anaheim side.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Disneyland open so bad.
There's rumors that it will be sometime in June just because of the phases, but there hasn't been anything announced, and they'll definitely be after Disney World.
Yeah. It's a lot stricter in California than it is in Florida right now.
So right now I can actually make 2020 bookings for Disneyland. I can't make 2021 ones because those aren't out yet. And
isn't that crazy? You can make Disneyland bookings, but not Disney World. And Disney World has announced their reopening and not Disneyland.
Yeah.
I would think with Disneyland, what you'll see, and again, speculation, very similar reopening to, I think you'll see Downtown Disney open up first with some of their shops, things of that nature. I think you'll then see a phasing in of their resorts and the parks. I think it'll be slow. But I would, again, it's all speculation. The only information that's come out is the fact that California does seem to be moving forward with its phases of reopening.
Yeah, Disneyland's weird because there's Good Neighbor packages, right? Which you book directly with the Disney company.
We have one booked for August.
Yeah.
I have one booked for August.
So, what will happen with that, right? You're not on a Disney property, right? Because I think Disney properties will get first kind of dibs at first, right? But then it is a Disney package, right? Either way, your money is protected. Disney's not going to hold your money of anything that you've paid. So you'll get a full refund if they cancel. And right now we can make any modifications to Disneyland vacations. So
very good.
Yeah.
So questions keep coming in. Thanks, guys. It's so good to just be chatting with some Disney fans here and talking through this, I guess, dealing with it.
It's our therapy session.
Yeah, it is. Is it true that guests from out of town will have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks before being allowed to visit Disney? I think that is that's a Florida right now. That's a Florida issue. That's not a Disney issue. I don't know what the rules are.
I had actually saw that Disney, or that Florida was saying, or people were upset because they're like, there's no way to know if people are actually quarantining or not, right? And they don't where we are, they ask you where are you quarantining? Tell us your plan, so they make sure that you are doing it for 14 days. And then there are stiff fines and things like that if you break that. I think Orlando does have fines, and there's possible jail time if you don't quarantine after the 14 days. But yeah, that's what I think, or that's at least what Floridians kind of the rumor. So,
again, it's but we don't know.
And it could change as Florida moves into different stages.
See, I thought. Maybe it's just because I know we're pretty strict here. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a little looser than Florida, but maybe it's not.
That's a really good question.
That is a good question that we don't know the answer to.
Will you look? I'm going to Google.
Diana says, sorry to hear about your canceled vacation. Yeah,
thank you, Diana.
I think lots of people are dealing with that right now. It'll make it that much sweeter when all of us get to go back to the parks and stuff.
Absolutely.
I will be coming from overseas, so I need to know about these kinds of scenarios. Yeah. Jamie's Googling right now, but I don't. That's not so much a Disney thing as it is the local municipality or where you're going, whether it be Florida, California, international parks. You got to find out from the country and kind of the state that you're heading to.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is on usatoday.com from 5 days ago.
Okay.
Here, let me just double check.
Fairly recent, but
May 26th. It was.
Nothing can change in 5 days.
Okay, everyone traveling from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or Louisiana must self-isolate or self-quarantine for 14 days for however long they will remain in the state of Florida.
Oh, so they've said basically the spots that are really high hot spots, which makes sense to the Northeast primarily.
Yeah.
So if you're not coming from that area, it looks like you don't have to self-quarantine. Now, again, they're not allowing travel from outside of the country at the moment, so that's a whole other problem. But Yeah, very good. That's as of 5 days ago, so it could have changed drastically since then. Sorry, the good question. I'll be coming overseas. Yes, I'm staying in a good
When do we
neighbor.
expect Halloween tickets to be released?
They've been released and unreleased now. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. It's just sad.
There's no, there's honestly no, there's no official news that they've officially canceled the party. So we really don't know. Like technically, as of right now, those parties are still happening.
But they're not selling new tickets right now.
They are not selling new tickets. You cannot purchase new tickets or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I think with the no parades, no fireworks, things like that, that it will likely be on the chopping block. But right now it's still on.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're assuming.
Yeah, we don't have any official information.
Lauren says, yes, I'm staying in a good neighbor hotel, crying face.
Yeah, Lauren, I know I was thinking about you. We'll just have to wait and see. You have a Disney package, official booked. It's not booked with a third party, like through the hotel directly. So, I think Disney will take care of you, and that's what I'm hoping, as much as they can. Another thing I made a note of is that it looks like club level. Now, there's no official information on that, but that club level is probably going to be on the chopping block as well. So if you did pay for that, I'm sure Disney's going to address it, and you'll always get a refund if you're not getting what you paid for. Like even with the tickets, if you have 5 days tickets and you only end up using 3 when you're actually at Disney has said they are going to refund you for your additional unused days. So you don't have to worry, but I don't have any like official information that club level is gone and done, but that's from what it sounds like, kind of, that it's going to be discontinued. So if you have that, we'll have to talk about that. And hotel spas won't be open because that's a high touch experience. So yeah.
Jason Latinga says, I'm looking forward to next year for a special Disney trip. I would go this year if I wasn't having surgery in June.
Good luck with your surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure
would go too in the summer if we could.
But I'm sure you'll have a great trip next year.
But you know what? It's a good time to have a surgery because, no one's able to go to Disney or do anything pretty much. Like we're pretty much on lockdown here. There's nothing fun. They have like the playgrounds boarded up, which is really sad.
That's why we spend all our time painting Epcot walls on our wall, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of home renovations done.
That's right. Wendy says, I also heard that they were not going to have club level. Will we get a refund on that?
Yeah, you will get a refund for that if they're not offering it, for sure. The reason why I think it's definitely on the chopping block is because it's an area where people congregate to, right? Yeah. And so Disney's going to be avoiding that. So I hope to hear more information on that soon, but right now I don't have any additional.
It would make sense that that's something that probably won't make it. Again, it's not been officially released. Mm-hmm. But again, people congregating together, small rooms, open food, tough to imagine that that's going to be happening immediately.
Oh, another thing I did make a note of is that regular on-site transportation is going to be up and running. So you don't have to worry about bringing a car, renting a car, and that the Magical Express will be starting to run again too. So if you were relying on that transportation from the airport, you're going to be good there.
Yeah. Lauren says, Heart, thanks for assuring me, Jamie. Aww. And Diana Brad, that Epcot wall is amazing. Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
It is good.
It was a lot of fun to make.
Yeah, if you didn't check out the video.
Yeah, a couple videos. I did a whole video on how we did it. And
tutorial. I painted a few squares, but honestly, for me, like the taping, I was like, oh my goodness, this is hurting my brain. And Brad's like, it's so easy.
Hey, I just a few people posted kind of like written directions on how to do it, and I read it, and I was like, actually, I think we can do it. Mm-hmm. It took us about 3.5 days of kind of quasi working on it.
A couple hours each day.
Yeah,
it wasn't that much because we had to wait for the coats to dry in between. So
we've really made it our goal to make our house feel like a Disney resort, and so we've been working on our backyard. Well, I'm sure
to make it like an enchanted tiki room.
We're calling it our Thomas Enchanted Tiki Deck.
Yeah,
and then we're thinking of adding the purple wall down into our basement. So we'll be putting videos of how we're transforming our house during this, because what else are you going to do? Wendy says, how come some people got 35% back because they had to rebook because they were closed? We didn't, and we had to rebook.
Oh, actually, okay. So what happened was when they closed for, I think it was like March and April, is they offered free dining, and it was called a recovery offer. So you could rebook your vacation from, it was something like June to September. So a lot of people moved their dates originally. I had several guests who were going in March, and then we moved their dates to like September to get the free dining recovery offer. So then after that, I would say it was a few weeks ago or so, they stopped the free dining offer. And that really, I guess, should have been our cue that like free dining plan was gone, but I had no clue. They just stopped the dining plan, the free dining recovery offer.
Well, this isn't a good sign.
So they stopped that, and then they started offering a room discount, and everyone's like, well, this is way worse than the free dining. Like the free dining was way better of a discount. So then they started offering room discount recovery offer for people who booked. And it was kind of hard because in the beginning too, they told people that you can cancel and then rebook later and you'd still get the recovery dining offer. So some people who canceled and didn't, but it's gone anyway, so it doesn't really matter either way. But so they, some switch, they started doing room discounts instead of dining discounts for rebooking. And it was only if they only offered that if your vacation was affected, like had original closure dates.
So we'll stay on for a couple more minutes or a few more minutes here. If you have any other questions, let us know. Is there anything else official that Disney has released? And by the way, if you want to ask us anything about the parks or whatever that's not related to COVID, we will do our best to answer those as well.
So it sounds like some people in my November guests even have been getting emails saying that your dining and fast passes have been canceled. So if you booked with me or with Disney directly, you should have gotten an email so far, or maybe it's going to be coming within the next couple days. And it's just an official letter letting you know this information about kind of what's going on. And it's basically them saying, we're really sorry.
So sorry.
So sorry.
In the video a couple days ago we did live, or that you did live, Jamie, you mentioned that if this is a once in a lifetime trip, it won't be like what you were expecting it to be.
Yeah.
And certainly it's really easy to kind of look at this and all the negative that's attached and so much that we don't know. But in the mood or the spirit of just keep swimming, what is there positive to look forward to? If you were to go during this season, what would you be excited about?
Well, no crowds.
I think for me, that's the biggest thing. Is you will never, ever go to the parks in your life.
I think the rides will have waits.
I think this will be, if just to go take in the ambiance, a slow pace of vacation, really restful. Yeah, not fighting
go
the
to
crowds.
Because you don't even have to wear a face covering in the pool.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, in the pool. So you can go hang out by the pool and then go have a dining reservation or something. If it's open.
The thing about a normal Disney World vacation is it really does feel like a sprint.
Yeah,
even at the very best of, we're having a rest day here or there, and we're just going to go to Disney Springs this day. When you go to Disney Springs, it's packed.
Yep.
When you go anywhere, it's packed all year round. There really is no down season anymore. It's wall to wall year round. You will never have an opportunity again to go to the parks when they are this empty and to experience it at a really leisure pace. So I don't think it's just, it would be a terrible trip. I think it would be a different trip. And I think you have to change your expectations.
Yeah.
But I actually think there's a lot of value here if you end up going. So if you still have a reservation,
there will still be Disney magic.
There will be a lot of Disney magic, and I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. I would love to figure out a way to go during the season. I don't know if we'll be allowed to from Canada, but I would love to. Yeah,
I think if it is a once in a lifetime trip and you were looking forward to having those character like meet and greets, parades, fireworks, I would considering postponing, but honestly, right now I am recommending to all of my guests, unless they know like Well, I'm recommending to all my guests to do a wait and see, especially for like if you have a September, October, November, December reservation. I would wait and see because your money is totally protected up until final payment, which is 30 days before check-in. So you can get a full refund on anything paid up until that final payment date of 30 days before. So I personally think if it was my own vacation, I would not cancel anything because right now you can only, like, you can't even rebook to 2021, and that might change, right, later on.
Yeah.
So if you decide later, like, oh, I do want to just rebook for 2021, we hopefully would be able to move it easily, but right now we can't, right? So I would just leave, your deposit right on and kind of do a wait and see before you make any decisions, because things could change too. Like right now they are saying no parades, no fireworks and stuff, but maybe things will be better later on, and they'll start slowly reintroducing things.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on where coronavirus is and safety, right?
So we've had some questions come in here. Mm-hmm. So is the 35% only for those who had a vacation affected early?
Yes. So the discount, well, the 35% is only for people who had free dining recovery offer or any kind of free dining offer. And so and then backing up from that is you were able to only get those offers or recovery offer if you had a vacation affected by the closures. Yeah.
Yeah. Would we still be able to get a DAS pass?
Would you need one?
That's going to be the question. Do you actually need it?
Like
they haven't released anything regarding the DAS
because
pass.
The DAS pass is for not being able to wait in lines, right? If there's such low capacity and there's no lines, right? Like maybe.
Like for all we know, all of the rides are going to kind of look like Rise of the Resistance, and you'll have a time to come, but we just don't know.
But there are, people who cannot transfer from a wheelchair to a ride. So
I would still think probably is. There may be that.
Yeah, because you would need to still have a return time because you have to go in through the exit area to be let in. So
this is just speculation on our part. We don't know. Disney hasn't said anything officially. I would bet there will be a DAS pass I don't think you would need it so much for getting through the lines, because I think they're going to be minimal to nothing. But it's more about gaining access.
Yeah.
If you're not physically able to.
Yeah.
So I would think there would be.
Yeah. And even in Shanghai, one important thing to note is they had like stand here kind of like areas, even in the lines. So they're going to be trying to social distance in the lines and all that.
Justin Ramirez says, I may have missed this, but we think the reservation system they will be using for parking minutes will be a virtual queue like Rise or like FlexPass at Disneyland? Yeah,
they haven't released any information on what that's going to look like yet. I'm hoping within the next couple weeks they will, because they said you'll be able to start doing Fastpass and dining 60 days before check-in. So for an August guest, because July is pretty much shot.
It's interesting you mentioned the Flex Pass at Disneyland, because it does seem like a system that would make a lot of sense for a situation like this. Nothing's been confirmed, but that good thought, Justin.
But so I think that they will be telling people soon, because we're talking the parks are going to be opening mid-July. But I think it's definitely going to be something probably now. I shouldn't say definitely.
Yeah,
definitely, probably, maybe, because I really don't know. I think it's going to be through My Disney Experience. You're looking at through your phone. So if you do not have a phone, that is kind of really going to be tough.
That will be. Lauren says, I think it's a once in a lifetime trip in itself because of the limited capacity. It's going to be such a rare sight to see.
That's true. That's such a positive way to look at it. I love that, Lauren.
Yeah, I love that too. And to be honest, like I said, if there was any way for me to get down there with us during this,
I would absolutely go.
But again, but I do understand, because we do go down more often than most.
We do. And the question is, would I take my 3-year-old? I don't know if I would take my 3-year-old, because there's no princess bippity boppity boutique. There's no princess dinners. Maybe her rides she can go on are maybe a little bit more limited, although it would still actually be fun.
I think,
but it would be, for me, the biggest thing, honestly, taking my 3-year-old would be the mask, because I have such a strong-willed child, and I would not want to fight with her that whole time. Linton and Nolan, my easygoing boys, it would be like, no big deal. Now let's ride Mine Train 8 times. Like,
yeah, no, it would be.
It would be awesome.
That would be them living their best life.
It actually would.
Which really has kind of been the quarantine experience for them. They just eat
Oh,
food,
yeah.
play video games, and go.
I said they're like
Swimming
Thor in Endgame, you know, where like his little cave, always playing video games and, you know, eating chips. Like those are my sons downstairs in our basement.
Yeah, no, it's really.
We call it their game room.
Yeah. What's the deal with park hopper passes? Your shirt made me think, how is that going to work with the reservation system?
Does your shirt say park hopper?
It does.
Oh, that's really sad.
It is sad because there is no more park hopper tickets during the season. It will come back, I'm sure, but no, they have those will be refunded if you've purchased those.
Yeah.
Would we have to wear a mask on the ride?
Disney has officially said everywhere, except for the pools.
I'm just
Oh, and
thinking-
except for when you're eating. So maybe you could get around it by eating on the ride. No, I think it's eating your turkey leg while you're on mine train.
I was just thinking on some of those really fast ones where you like breathe in. It's like
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain would be kind of a nightmare.
Popcorn. I think though that there's going to be designated food eating areas that are like highly sanitized and kind of controlled and spaced out.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's why Wendy said maybe there won't be kiosks to just go up and get food. Like
I think you will have to wear a mask on rides.
I do. So eating and pool time will not have a mask.
Yeah.
So.
In your room.
And Disney, I did watch the, what was it where they presented to the governor, like their plans and stuff. And they did talk about how they were hoping to introduce in the future, like maybe kind of like a rest area where people could take off their masks and kind of breathe. Like it obviously would have to be a really spaced out.
In some places, it doesn't, again, it's up to Disney. They're a private company, but some places don't make a lot. Like lots of the Fort Wilderness campgrounds, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for a person going on a bike ride to have to wear a mask. But again, it's
I would
up
think
to them.
It would be nice if they could have like no mask areas. So like, you know, when you're walking down Main Street maybe, and if it's not too crowded,
I think you've got to still have it there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
like I get it for the rides and the queues. When you are lined up next to people, like you absolutely right now.
I would think with limited capacity, the places where, if there were places where they would say, oh, this isn't, it would be like the walkway from once you get outside of Magic Kingdom to Epcot, like that kind of stuff. I don't.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. But yeah, a simple answer. It's a really complex answer to would we have to wear a mask on a ride? It's all signs are pointing to yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Which again, it depends on the ride. Small World, not such a big deal. Space Mountain. I don't know how comfortable that'd be.
There's a really funny video of, I think it's Kevin Hart and Jimmy Fallon at Universal, and they're on I think it's called Hollywood Rip Rocket.
Yeah.
And one of them gets like a fly in their mouth. They're like, oh, so I guess that's the one benefit of having.
Yeah, I guess that won't be happening anymore.
What have a fly going your
mouth? Like going, because Universal's opening right now. Like I can't imagine going on some of their massive roller coasters with a cloth face mask flipping off in the wind.
Oh, that's true. It could fly off
with
some of those.
There's no way my mask
like Space
would
Mountain.
fly off.
Yeah, and that's interesting because too, I've heard that the reason why, you know, they even have at grocery stores, like certain ways you go is because if people are facing each other, then there's higher risk of them kind of spraying onto each other, talking moistly. You know?
As our prime minister.
As our prime minister would say. So, you know, the reason why they have everyone kind of face the same direction is because, you know, just for safety. So if you're in a ride, you're facing the same direction, right? Like, but you are closer probably than 2 meters.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make it where not every cart's filled. Like the days of the single rider line is gone, I bet.
If that's
for now. Because
if that's
the single rider line is the purpose of it is to fill up like empty spots of families, right?
No, that won't be happening right
now. No, I don't think the single rider line will exist where they'll be like, here's a stranger to sit next to you now.
Yeah. No, that's not a thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that one question really got us onto a tangent here.
You have to wear a mask on a ride.
Yes, you will, but some rides that's more difficult than others. Yeah. Any other questions, you guys? I think we're slowing down here in the questions. It's been fun hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. We need to do this more often. live shows. We've been wanting to do it, but it's just hard with the kids around.
Yeah, we were talking about we could do it after they go to bed, but then you guys would probably see our kids' bedrooms are down there. So you'd probably see like a kid wandering out, like having a nightmare or something. So we need to figure it out though, because it is really nice talking to all of you and
answering questions.
Yeah, and seeing some of my clients jump on here. If you are considering a Disney vacation in the future, I am obviously not allowed to book anything new right now because Disney's not allowing modifications or new reservations to be made. But when
Disney
that is
World, Disneyland,
I can help, and actually Disney Cruise, even 2021. And for a future Disney World vacation, I do have a contact list, so I can add you to that. But if you are interested in any type of Disney vacation, make sure to contact me. My email is jamie@clickthemouse.ca, or you can contact me through the website, which is www.clickthemouse.ca/Jamie. And also with Disney Cruise, I do offer onboard credit. And a little disclaimer too, it costs you nothing additional to book with me. And I'm just here to kind of give you free advice. Disney actually pays me commission for the sale. So whether you book with an agent or not, you are paying kind of for a service that you're not getting. So I recommend just booking with me, and then you get my free services.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. I think that's it for today. We'll try to do more of these in the future, but have a magical Saturday afternoon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Now I got to figure out how to end it.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Oh.